Tribe. This is Rena with InsideJobHealing.com. So I apologize for my hoarse voice, but this is your update for May 4th through May 10th. The reason why my voice is gone is because I had to deal with a traumatic incident last week. My beloved dog Luna and I were attacked by a pit bull. It was terrifying, but we're okay. Which brings me to the first theme. Right now, we're literally scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as our unconscious and subconscious patterns. And so right now, a lot of us are being faced with our, old traumas and any kind of stagnant energy in the root chakra, which is your center for, your connection with the earth, safety, food, money, routine, all that stuff. So a lot of us have had to clean out a lot of stagnant energy in that area, and we're going on month 3 of the quarantine. And so the shadows are really coming to the surface, and what I encourage you to do is feel to heal and process this, process these feelings, because the only way is through. So for us, unfortunately, it looked like we were going on an innocent walk on a beautiful day, because most of us are in our house at stay-at-home orders for the next couple weeks, and for our California brothers and sisters until June 1st. And so, we've been using our walks as a way to really connect with nature and kind of, not feel cooped up inside the house. And unfortunately, during one of our walks, a pit bull attacked my beautiful dog Luna. And for those of you that know her, she is the sweetest, most amazing, loving dog. And honestly, it was probably one of the single most terrifying moments of my life. And I wasn't thinking of myself, I was thinking of protecting her. And so I literally used my body to shield the pit bull from her and tried. Luckily, through the grace of God, my guides and angels were protecting me, so I wasn't bitten, but unfortunately, Luna was bitten 5 times. She's a champ. We went to the animal hospital, which was a very weird experience with quarantine, and we're triaged in the car, and luckily Luna was taken care of by this amazing vet called Dr. Smith and this amazing nurse called Sarah, and they were just our lifeline, and she's recovering beautifully. Her wounds are not infected. She's on her meds. She's getting the rest that she needs. But we definitely, even though I'm a trauma therapist and a healer and I have the tools, it's different when it's you, when you're going through a life-threatening situation. That's why my voice is gone, because I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs for someone to please help me. And honestly, I felt powerless. I felt guilty for not being able to protect her better, because as I swooped her up in my arms, he was still biting her. So you can just imagine having your life threatened. It doesn't matter if you're spiritual, how much training you've had, how much healing you've done. When you're in that life-threatening situation, you're gonna react. And my encouragement is, no matter what comes up for you, obviously for us, it was major trauma. Thank God her leg was not broken, even though the vet might have suspected that. It was just an injury from the bites. But just again, being put in that situation, I don't care who you are, how much training you've had, you still have to process that trauma. And so I encourage you, no matter what happens, no matter what comes up for you in these last few weeks of quarantine that have just been building under the surface, I encourage you to use your techniques, your breath work, your meditation. I cried. I got angry. I was very upset at the pit bull. I was upset that they, the fence, was loose and he was let out. And I was upset that the owners didn't apologize for the attack or didn't get him fast enough. And, I was just terrified. And luckily for us, there was a lot of bystanders and witnesses. So police were called, animal control were called, and I had these angels basically step up and say, we're your eyewitnesses if you need to, prosecute, things like that. And luckily, it sounds like the owners are potentially willing to pay for the vet bills. So hopefully we'll be able to settle this out of court, and they're being cited, and they're going to have to show up and answer for that. And luckily they've repaired the gate. So again, it could have been much worse. I could have been, bitten as well, because I was literally in the middle of the line of fire. And so what I want to encourage you is, again, maybe you're not experiencing something as traumatic as I did, but just to take care of yourself. Like Luna and I rested a lot. Like I said, I cried. I felt the guilt of, not being able to protect her better, even though I did the best that I could. I felt helpless. I felt like I failed at protecting my baby. I felt angry. I felt hurt. I felt threatened, attacked, I didn't feel safe. And so a lot of us, like, you know, we've had lifetimes where food's been scarce, or we've been in wars, or we've been attacked. And so this isn't new energy. Like, a lot of us have, you know, a lot of us spiritual people don't feel safe on the planet. And so it's really important, again, if you're not feeling safe in your body, to allow yourself for these emotions, for this stagnant energy, this energy and motion to come to the surface, and to be purified and cleansed with tears. You know, I took baths, I slept, I nourished myself, I baked, you know, and I took the last few days just to take care of myself. Again, my voice was gone, like as hoarse as it sounds now. Like, I could barely speak for several days because I broke my vocal cords, because I screamed so loud, because I was, you know, really felt threatened for my life and my dog's life. And anybody that knows us knows that she's my soulmate. And she's like one of the most beautiful beings that I love on the planet. So anyway, so that's what I'm sharing with you, is right now it's getting down to the wire. So don't be scared, you know, if bad things happen or some of these deep-rooted traumas come up. I just encourage you to not hide from them and to just really process them. So moving forward, besides us really dealing with the traumas and the deep, deep shadows and clearing out our, you know, any blocks to our root chakra and feeling safe and secure and prosperous, because those of us that are moving into abundance and wealth building, we have to take those out, because really, if you think about it, a lot of us have had issues with money and cash flow, which I talked about. Money and cash flow is Taurus, and we're in Taurus season, right? But also, like, a lot of people are having difficulty paying their rent or their mortgage right now because May is here, and it's been a couple months of this economic onslaught for a lot of people, and a lot of people in New York want to cancel rent, right? So if you think about it, money and cash flow has directly to do with us, with our sense of security, how, you know, how safe we feel, right? And so basically, money is security. And, you know, for those of us, okay, maybe you didn't get attacked, you know, by a pit bull and feel unsafe and like your security is being threatened, but maybe you can't pay your rent, or maybe you can't feed your kids, right? And maybe, like a lot of us, you know, you've either got, you know, not gotten the PPP loan or haven't gotten your unemployment yet. A lot of people are in these really dire situations where their security is being threatened. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is to give yourself the time to really explore some of these scarcity themes, these safety themes, and really allow yourself to heal and process those, and let the emotion flow through you, because it's only temporary. So, you know, another thing is to not really focus just on yourself, right? A lot of times we are like stuck in our homes. We're thinking, especially those of us that are Geminis and air signs, right? It's just like we're in our head a lot. So I encourage you to kind of get out of your head. And a lot of times when we're, you know, when we're so focused on ourselves, you know, then the victim consciousness comes out, right? Like with my attack, it's like you feel like you're a victim or whatever, but we're survivors, right? We're not victims. It's really important. We cannot bring to New Earth in the ascension process, you know, this scarcity, this lack, this fear of safety, this feeling like a victim. It can't come with us, and that's why for a lot of us it's being brought to the surface to be processed. And so what's really important to know is you're not a victim. You are a survivor. You are empowered, and we are not you know, we are not our circumstances. It's, you know, the meaning we attach to what's going on. So even though we're in quarantine and we're on lockdown, we're being protected by the government. Our freedom's not being taken away because we could choose to go to the grocery store or walk outside. It's just that we're, you know, the government's just taking safety measures to try to protect us. And it's a precarious balance with the economy and us working and us kind of making a livelihood again. But certainly we're at the beginning stages of this disease. As you know, somebody was saying, we're like in the second inning, if there's 9 innings in a game. And so I think it's really important for us to realize that this is a marathon and it's not a sprint. And I've seen a lot of people, like when I went to take her to the animal hospital, like at the gas station, not wearing masks, not keeping social distancing. It's a little bit alarming, but again, you can only control yourself and what you do. So you can put on your mask, you can kind of step back if someone's in your space, if you don't feel comfortable saying something. So, you know, again, just really, I want to empower you to, you know, to do what's right for you. So when we take away from just focusing on ourselves and like, woe is me and all that, because that's not going to be helpful to our psyche. What's really important is to be mindful of our thoughts and to stay positive and keep a positive mindset, and just know that you can literally create your own reality by your thoughts and how you respond to the situation. It's not what's happening outside of you, it's how you respond to it and how you put meaning to it, and the thoughts and the words that are coming up, because thoughts are things. And I think it's really important to kind of take a step away from ourselves and think about the bigger picture, because we're safe in our homes. Most of us do have food that we can eat, and to think of others that don't. And so I think I mentioned this before, like my heart is really breaking for those that are in war-torn countries, like Venezuela and Syria and Libya and things like that, that are in situations where the epidemic could really cause a famine type of situation because they're not being able to get the supplies. And places even in the U.S. that are like food insecure, right? There's so many children that are food insecure, and that's why when it was open, I really supported the Foundation Coffee Shop, which is part of the Patachu Foundation, for those of you that live in Indy. And that's such a great organization because they feed thousands of food insecure folks and kids every single week. And so all the proceeds, when you go to the Foundation Coffee Shop, go to that amazing cause. And also if you go to Public Greens, which is an amazing plant-based, it's not just plant-based, but just amazing farm-to-table restaurant that I love in Broad Ripple, all the proceeds also go to the Patachu Foundation to feed thousands of food insecure children a week. So I highly recommend that you engage in that and just have an offering. Like I've been fasting lately, so I've been abstaining from food and drink in order to be in solidarity with those that don't have a choice. I have a choice not to eat or drink, and I'm very fortunate that I can make that choice of my free will. But I've been doing that in order to not only feel their pain and suffering, but also to be in solidarity and unity and be like, you know what, we're all in this together. And so that is my offering, is to fast and dedicate my fast to food insecure women and children and those that can't eat or are having trouble finding food. So what is your offering? Like, what can you offer? It doesn't have to be money right now if you can't afford to donate to your favorite charity or something like that, but what can you offer? So it's important to step outside of ourselves and say, well, what can I do to give back and help others and be a part of this experience in a positive way? So another thing is just letting go of expectations, letting go of addictions. Like, for us that we're like going to do hot yoga every day or something like that, or the gym, it's important to kind of let go of those addictions and or maybe, silly things like addictions to snacks or, addictions to like chips or popcorn or ice cream or chocolate. A lot of us have had to give up any kind of addiction because you're not readily able to go out and get those things, or you're not able to go get your workout on every day. So I think it's an important time to let go of addictions and let go of timelines and let go of expectations and what this new normal is gonna look like. And I think also just coming to a point of acceptance, coming to the point of acceptance of this is our new reality. This isn't the first time that humanity has been hit by something like this. I mean, in 1918, the Spanish, bird flu came, and it came, and then it got stronger in the fall, and then it came back the next year. So unfortunately, coronavirus is not going anywhere anytime soon. And my former employer, wonderful company, Roche, has just been green-lighted for an antibody test. So hopefully that's going to help us identify who's developed an immunity towards this disease. And we're looking at least, 12 to 18 months before a vaccine is developed. So we're in this in the long haul, and it's important for us to get our mindset right and do whatever we can to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And lastly, what can we look forward to? I mean, I've just talked about trauma, and I've talked about people not being able to eat and being food insecure, and I've talked about letting go of, our luxuries and things that we're used to. Well, what can we do, right, to, develop joy in our life every day? What's one thing you can do that you look forward to? So for me, it's stock trading is really fun and exciting for me. So when I do trade that day, that gives me joy. Or like I said, when I was going out for walks, that gave me joy, right? Or putting on red lipstick, it's the lipstick effect that they used to do in the war, that gave me joy. So find what gives you joy. I love you lots. Again, it's Rena with InsideJobHealing.com, and I will see you soon.